Good evening, everyone. Welcome to the today's webinar session brought to you by University of West Georgia and Shiksha Study Abroad. This is an informative session on MS in Computer Science. So before we move further, I would like to introduce our presenter today, who is Paul Sargent. Hi, Paul. And to
Hello.
all the students, I have a small request. Please wait for next half of the session for the Q&A part, where until then you can post your question in the Q&A box. And in case if you need to ask personally with the Paul, you can use the raise hand button in order to directly ask question to the Paul. So, well, stage is yours, Paul. All the best with your presentation.
Well, thank you very much. Greetings. Nice to meet you all. I hope you're having a lovely evening. It's still fairly early over here in Georgia, in the United States, but I do hope we are set for a good day at the very least. But my name is Paul Sargent. I am the Director of International Student Admissions and Programs at the University of West Georgia. My primary job is working with prospective students who are interested in coming to the United States and helping them with the application process to come to the University of West Georgia, as well as handling the various items that international students need after they arrive in the country. So I also run the orientation program and go on with OPT workshops, CPT workshops, which is your off-campus working permission and those sorts of things. And today I am here to talk to you a little bit about the University of West Georgia and a little bit more specifically about the Masters of Computer Science program that we offer. So I am from the University of West Georgia, as I had mentioned. We are about 45 minutes west from the city of Atlanta. And that is about from the airport, maybe an hour or so from downtown Atlanta. And if you're not familiar, Georgia is actually this state here, which is kind of the hat for Florida. So if you did not know where Georgia was, I forgive you. Surprisingly, it is quite uncommon for students to know where Georgia is off the top of their head. But we are a great location, I would say. We are actually from a very low cost area in the United States. In fact, our town was one of the 9th most affordable college towns in the United States a few years ago, the last time that they did the ranking process. And we're a medium-sized institution with about 13,000 students. I think it's like 12,800 at the moment, which is quite respectable for an American university. And I think it's a great medium-sized institution. So we're not so small that there's only a handful of other students on campus, but also we're not one of the 25, 35, 45,000 campuses where you're nothing but a number. So I think we're in a very good spot in regards to our enrollment. We have over 100 different programs of study, and we offer everything from a bachelor's degree to doctoral degrees. And the best part is that I do think that we are quite a low cost or an affordable option for many international students. The main reason for that is that we are in Georgia, which is a low-cost state in comparison to like New York or California or Florida or Texas, which are all rather high-cost states. And we are just far enough from the city itself that the costs are actually quite low, but close enough to the city that you can easily make it downtown and take advantage of everything that the city has to offer. And the best part is that we are about a 2/3 or a third of the price of some of the larger universities in downtown Atlanta, but you're still close enough that you get all of those same benefits. So I personally love Carrollton because we're just far enough away from the city where everything is affordable, but close enough to the city that if you ever want to head in town and do something fun, you have the option to do so. This is a campus map for our university. So for us, we keep most of the classroom buildings in this area. And then along the edge is typically administrative offices and student dormitories. So for the most part, we have a very walkable campus. However, we do have multiple buses that do large loops around the university. So if you are in one of the further apartments, for example, and you don't want to walk to your class in the Technology Learning Center, you can easily take a bus that will take you straight to the door. I do have a few campus photos here as well, just to show off the university a little bit. I personally find it a very attractive campus. Granted, I am biased a bit. I have been at the University of West Georgia for 7.5 years or so now, but I definitely think it is rather picturesque. So on our university campus, we do have over 120 student clubs and activities on campus. These clubs and activities are of various items. For the example, we have everything from academic sororities to Greek life to recreational sports. So we have men's soccer, or we are looking at starting a cricket team for a recreational league as well, for anyone who would be interested in that, and various other items. And the nice thing is about the clubs and activities is it's very easy to start your own. So if there is a club or an interest or a hobby that you have that you would like to do with other students as a club or activity, the only thing you need is a handful of other students to show interest in the program with you. And together, as long as you have, I think, like 5 minimum members, you can actually start the club and be recognized by the university, including having access to student activity funding, which is basically the university giving you money to be able to do a hobby or an activity of your choosing. We have 13 NCAA Division II teams. So these are our higher intercollegiate teams. So these are the ones that go from our campus to another university, and they have competition depending on which sport you're talking about. We also have a very active international student club, which we do encourage all of our students to join and take part in. In terms of student support, we do have a modern, multiple modern campus labs across campus. A lot of them are open 24/7. So if you are working on a computer science project and would want access to one of the school machines to be able to do some work on it, you would have that as an available option to you. We also have technology services, which is a free IT support for campuses. So if you do bring your own third party or personal property, laptops, desktops, tablets, those sorts of things to campus, and they are having difficulty, you can actually take it to the IT support desk and they are able to help you try to rectify and fix it. In addition, for any of you who may actually be of some degree of computer science history, you may also be interested in applying for work at the IT support desk, because you would be able to actually work on campus helping students fix technological issues in that role. So for any of you who are coming in for a Master's of Science in Computer Science and are interested in being able to do some hardware and or troubleshooting, that would be an opportunity for you as well to make some money along with your studies. As I said, we do have a campus shuttle that loops around the university. It does also go off campus as well. And we do also take van trips into Atlanta as well for anyone who is interested in that. These community shuttles basically will be going to some grocery stores and some various item like Walmart and other stores of that sort, with a large variety of food and household supplies, which is quite nice because I know a lot of international students don't necessarily want to buy a car when they arrive. And this is basically a shuttle that will take you to the store so that you won't have to actually purchase your own vehicle. We do also have a great career services office on our campus, and they are more than happy to help you with your life after university. So they do a lot of interview practice, resume practice, how to eat at a formal dining restaurant in the Western tradition, in case they do take you for a lunch during the interview, and various other cultural and professional tips and advice to help you land the job after you do complete the program. We do also have a great on-campus health services and counseling center. So if there are any needs that you may have medically or otherwise during your time at the university, we do try to be there and have options of support for you. For our campus, one of the things I like best about our programs is our focus on experiential learning opportunities. This is basically ways for you to gain experience along with classroom studies. So this is beyond what you would learn in the classroom and allows you to utilize those skills for to better showcase yourself on your resume for when you do graduate and you begin applying for positions. On-campus employment is available throughout your program. Every program does qualify for an internship, and that would be under the government's CPT or co-curricular practical training system, where you're able to work off campus as part of your international student experience in the United States. For this, we do offer CPT workshops and authorization through my office, the ISAP office. The students are able to work 20 hours per week during their studies and 40 hours during breaks, and that is true for both CPT internships and the on-campus employment options. And we are well located. Atlanta is very much a business city. Atlanta is the home for many multinational companies, as well as the regional headquarters for a lot of international organizations in the Atlanta area. So, for example, in Atlanta, we have the headquarters for Coca-Cola, Delta Airlines. We also have the large presences from UPS, Equifax, and a few other various companies of some regard and renown, which is always great because if you are able to get a job at a well-known company, that can certainly increase your employability down the line. Our career services team on campus does help with job and interview search assistance. They do also invite a lot of the local employers to our campus to interview and hire our candidates near graduation, and also resume and interview assistance, job and internship search assistance, excuse me, and the post-graduation OPT option. And this is a STEM eligible program, being computer science. So it does also qualify for the 2-year STEM extension to the OPT, which is your 1-year post-graduation work permit, more or less. So with this program, it does qualify you for the STEM 3-year authorization. So our Masters of Science in Computer Science, Applied Computer Science, is housed in our College of Arts, Culture, and Scientific Inquiry, which is one of the colleges that make up the University of West Georgia. It is within the Department of Computing and Mathematics. They do have modern computer labs with 24/7 student access while classes are in session, like I mentioned earlier. They do also have quite a few lecture halls, conference spaces, advising, and office spaces in our Technology Learning Center, which is the building on the left and the slide here. And we do also offer a fully online version of the MS in Applied Computer Science program. So if you were interested in taking the program but did not wish to do so from inside the United States, you may do so through the online study program. But needs to say, being an online only program, it does not qualify for the F1 visa sponsorship because the government only approves those for on-campus programs. However, our online program of the MS Applied Computer Science degree was actually ranked 54th nationally, I believe, last year. This is, in fact, the first year that we're bringing this program on campus. So we're very excited to see how this will be picked up on. We actually have some students who joined us about a month and a half ago for our summer intake, and we have a couple hundred coming in for the August fall intake. So we are basically very eager to see this fill up and ideally be nationally ranked on our on-campus program as well. For the program, we are looking at typically the typical admission requirements here. So for our Master's of Science in Applied Computer Science, we're looking for roughly a 2.5 out of a 4.0 GPA. That is going to be roughly a 50% CGPA from Indian institutions. So as long as you're a second class or first class graduate, you should be fine. And depending on how strong you were in the past class in the 40% range, if you're like 48, 47%, you may still be close enough to obtain admission, but it just depends on exactly how you did in exactly which classes. So that one I would have to take a look at. That one's more of a case by case, but as long as you're above 50, you have a decent shot of meeting the minimum GPA requirements. The professors of this program also want to see a current resume or a CV, and they also wish for a statement of purpose or application letter. And this is typically the most important item of the application for us, to be honest. For the statement of purpose, they're really just looking to make sure that you know what our program is, and you have a career. They want to know what your career outcome or your desired goal is after you graduate, and just to help see you make the connection as to how this program will help you get to your ideal career outcome. They also do ask for 3 letters of recommendation. It is optional, but if you have them, it is great. And I'm happy to say that as long as you completed an English taught bachelor's degree, which is typically the case for India as well as some other nations in the world, it does qualify you for a TOEFL or an IELTS waiver. So there will be no need to take a test of English as part of the application process for students from India who qualify for that waiver. This program is also GRE optional, so there is no need to take the GRE. It doesn't really even impact your chances of admissibility. So for the most part, I say there's no need to worry about it. But if you have already taken the GRE and you did well and you wish to provide those scores to the committee for consideration for the admission review, you may certainly do so. Indeed, with this program as well, previous experience in computer science related fields is not required for admission. This is a question we get very often. So if you are a business undergraduate major or something along those lines, you can still get admitted to the computer science master's degree. Program cost, of course, always an important question from students. This program does cost about $9,500 a semester, plus your cost of living, so textbooks, room, boards, those sorts of things. Our I-20 cost is set for about $32,000 per year. And that is probably about right. It might need a little bit more than that because this program does run year round. So rather than a academic year being only 2 semesters, this program does have 3, because you have the fall, the spring, and the summer terms in part of your academic year. However, the I-20 cost is only based off of the first 2 semesters, not that summer semester. And that was actually the end of my slide. But before I turn this over to you and your questions, I did also wish to provide you a little bit of information regarding the classes of the program. So if you would permit me just to switch our slide over to here, we do have a list of all of the programs that all of the classes that we have that are part of this program. So this is a cohort program, which means that you take the same classes with your classmates every semester through the completion of the degree. So unlike a lot of programs in the US, it doesn't give you a lot of flexibility in regards to choosing which classes you wish to take, nor are you able to specialize the program in any particular direction because everyone will be taking the same classes. Granted, it may not be the same people in each of your classes because we will be having multiple versions of each class. So there might be an 8 a.m. class, a 9 a.m. class, a 10 a.m. class for web technologies. And then you might have another class in program construction later on. So your space in the session may alter. So you may not have George next to you in your program construction class. You might be in the 8 a.m. and you might be in the 10 a.m., but you'll still be taking it together at the same time in terms of the semester plan. So in semester one, we typically will be doing 2 classes, and this program is set up that they will actually put 2 different sessions into the same semester. So if you are starting with us spring 2023, that starts in January, from the months of January, February, and March, you'll be taking web technologies and program construction. And then typically March, April, May, you'll be in web technologies and program construction too. Next will be the summer term. So then you'll be taking these 2 classes. The summer term is shorter, so that one is not split. You'll just take these 2 classes for the duration of the summer before moving on into the fall semester, which would be Database Systems 1 and Software Development 1 for the August, September, October, and then October, November, December, you'll be looking at Database Systems 2 and Software Development 2. And then for your final semester, which will be spring 2024 at that point, it would be the Capstone. And the Capstone can either be a project where you'll be working on a semester-long capstone project, or it can also take the form of an internship. And in these cases, if you would be sitting for an internship, you would then go off to one of our partner companies to work for a semester. And at the end of the semester, you'd be expected to do a bit of a research project or a essay or a paper of some sort to describe what you learned or what you had taken away from your work experience during the semester. Then from that point, you'd be graduating and we would be working with you, hopefully, to get you in for an OPT application, which will allow you to continue to work after you do graduate for the 3 years of the OPT and the STEM OPT extension. But this is the breakdown of the individual classes. I also wanted to talk a little bit about our faculty. So the 2 I would say that I would highlight is probably Dr. Yoder here. He is the chair in the Department of Computing and Mathematics, and he's also an associate professor within the program. So he is in charge of our computing programs, both at the undergraduate and graduate level, and also is a faculty member who teaches within the program. Then Michael Arcega here is our graduate program coordinator. So he is the one who is actually in charge of the Masters of Science in Computer Science program at the University of West Georgia. He is also a professor of it as well, so you would likely have him as a professor as well. And we also have a few additional computer faculty here as well, which do teach at various segments of your program as you move to complete it. We do have 3 intakes of this per year. So you would have the option of joining us either in August, January, or May, depending on your preference. And we would encourage you to apply typically 3 to 4 months before the start of your program to allow you enough time to complete your application, be accepted to the program, and to get your I-20 and apply for your visa, which of course for some nations at the moment is taking longer than others. So it is certainly worth applying early just to give you the maximum amount of time and the maximum opportunity of successfully being awarded your visa. But with that, that does take me to the end of my little presentation here. So I would be more than happy to turn the floor over to our hosts from Shiksha, just to continue on with the Q&A portion of
yeah, sure.
our time.
Thank you, Paul, for such an amazing, informative session. And now I'm going to take some of the live questions. So I'm going to unmute some of the participants.
Sorry, Chandresh, are you there?
Hi, Paul.
Okay, I think my audio might have went out. Sorry.
Oh, that's okay. So, okay. Yeah, am I audible now?
Yes, I did fix it.
Okay, perfect. So what I was saying, Paul, so I'm going to unmute some of the participants who's going to ask you the live questions. So I'm going to start with Akarsh. Akarsh, if you're here with us, please unmute yourself and go ahead with your question.
Am I audible, sir?
Yeah, hi Akash.
Yes.
You're audible.
So, sir, I was about to ask if your esteemed university provide with a MS in cybersecurity degree or information security degree, right, sir?
Uh, Not in as many words, no. With our Masters of Science and Computer Science program, it is very much a focused program on just the software and the programming side of things. However, if you are interested in cybersecurity, one thing I could suggest looking at is our master degrees in business administration. So we do offer business intelligence and cybersecurity in the MBA program. So it is primarily a business focused degree, but a bit of business intelligence and cybersecurity built into it, as well as IoT networking cybersecurity. Which is a little bit more computing networking focused as opposed to the business intelligence focus. But those are within the MBA concentration at the University of West Georgia rather than the computer science concentration, which does mean that they do lack STEM classification. So this one would only qualify you for the 1-year OPT as opposed to the 3-year STEM OPT. But if it is closer to your desired career outcomes, I would suggest going with the MBA as opposed to the computer science program.
Well, I hope Akash that answers your question. Thanks, Paul, for answering that. And now I'm gonna unmute Musrat. Musrat, if you're here with us, please unmute yourself and go ahead with your question.
Hi, Paul. Good morning.
Good morning.
Paul, I had a few set of questions. First thing, if I could know the application fees.
Yes, the application fee is $40. However, one of the things I was going to mention at the end here is that for those of you who registered and attended the session today, we are offering a application fee waiver for the month of July. So you would be able to avoid that with the attendees here for today. But typically it is a $40 application fee, just you may be able to arrange to apply without it.
That's great. That's great. However, I've just seen that the fall application deadline is the first, which is probably a couple of days from now. So is there a possibility that we apply for it and ensure that the student brings in all the application requirements in time? Is there a possibility we get the fee waiver as well as a decision in time?
Fall would be unlikely, if I have to be honest. However, it's mostly due to the visa regime and the system at the moment in India. If you are a student who already had been accepted to another university and you either already have an appointment arranged or you already have a visa awarded to another university, I might be able to speak with the faculty to get an exemption so we can process your application even a bit late. However, if you have not yet already secured a visa appointment, more than likely you wouldn't be able to get one ahead of the start of classes in August. So I would say that applying for spring would probably be my recommendation in that case.
I agree with it. I will agree with it. However, like you just mentioned, yeah, that is the case that there are students who have, scheduled the visa appointment and looking for applying just to be safe.
Indeed, yeah. For those who already have a visa or a visa appointment, it would have to be a case-by-case approval because I do have to get the faculty to give me the permission to process applications after the deadline. But if you have a visa already or a visa appointment already scheduled, I would say that the chances of being approved for that would be quite high. So I would say send me an email and let me know. And then we can go through that permission process and get your application completed as quickly as possible in hopes to get you through in ahead of the fall classes.
Definitely, I shall keep in touch with you about that. And in another question that I had is about the I-20 cost. I
Yes.
mean, uh, in what case or what scenario is it mandatory? How is it classified?
I'm not sure what you mean by classified. The I-20 cost is set at 32,000, if that's what you're asking. But
Yes.
if not, I can certainly elaborate more if necessary.
No, I need a little more elaboration.
Sure. Well, so basically, with our I-20 cost, that's based off of 2 semesters of study, which is what the federal government requires. So it's typically about $20,500 is allocated towards tuition. We put about $3,000 towards housing, another 2,000 some dollars for meals, another 2,000 some dollars for health insurance, textbooks, and those sorts of things. And that typically brings us up to about $31,000 total, which is our official I-20 cost. But we do ask for 32,000 just for the visa application fees, plane tickets, those sorts of things, which would bring it up to that 32,000 mark.
Okay, great. Thank you so much. That answers my question.
Okay, perfect.
And I think that's it. Thank you so much for verifying all this. Thank you, Paul.
Of course, my pleasure.
Thank you, Musrat. And now I'm going to unmute one of our participants who is Raman. If you're here with us, please unmute yourself and go ahead with your question.
Yeah, hi. Hi, Paul.
Hello.
Hello. Actually, I have a question that I had completed my undergraduate with a overall GPA of 6.4. So during my graduation period, I used to have backlogs, and the number of attempts I made to clear the backlogs are 30.
Mhm.
So I had a dream to pursue masters in USA. Do I'm eligible to get admission in Georgia University?
More than likely, yes. We at this time do not have a cap or a maximum number of backlogs that we accept. We are
Okay.
looking at possibly doing so ahead of fall 2023, but at this time we do not have a maximum backlog. Granted, if your transcript looks more like a textbook than it does a transcript, that will weigh
Mhm.
against you a bit. But with only 3 backlogs, I think you should be fine. So
Yes.
that is
Yes.
certainly not excessive. So I would encourage you to apply
Mhm.
with a 6.4, I believe you said.
Yes, 6.4. And currently
Yeah.
I'm working as a software engineer in L&T company.
Okay, perfect.
Mhm.
Yeah, with 6.4 and a bit of professional experience and only 3 backlogs, I'd say you should be in good shape.
Mhm. It's not 3, it's 30.
Oh, 30. Did you say 30?
Yes. Yeah, 30.
Okay, that one's a bit higher, but like I said, we
Yeah.
do not have a maximum. So I would say it's worth trying anyway. They will take that into consideration with the approval, but with the
Yeah.
6.4 CGPA, that
Yes.
should be high enough to counteract it a little bit. So I'd say it's worth a try.
Okay. And may I know, is there GRE score mandatory?
It is not. It is a
It is
GRE optional. So if you did very well and you want to send it, feel free. But it is not required by the faculty for admission.
Okay. And I would also like to know what is the application fee for this? Is there any waiver for applications?
Yes, it is a $40 application fee, but those who are in attendance to this event do
Yes.
qualify for a waiver of that application fee. So I will be reaching out to all of the attendees probably tomorrow or the day after, depends on how quick Shiksha gets me the list. And I'll include some
Definitely, we'll help you
instructions
with
into that with how to qualify for the waiver and how to submit it without paying the fee.
Oh, and I would also know what are all the circumstances you take to allot scholarship for the person?
Yeah, so typically with this program, we don't have a lot of scholarships available. Typically, the best form of aid that international graduate students can get is going to be a graduate assistantship, which is not really a scholarship in the traditional form, but it's more that you're working with a member of faculty during your studies. And that comes with a full tuition waiver and potentially even a small monthly stipend. And these are awarded based off of professional competencies more so than academic merit. So it's more that you apply for it as if you're applying for a job. Sure, having good grades helps you stand out. It may help you get an interview, but in the end, they're going to be hiring who is best for the position. So it is more of a meritocracy as opposed to an academic scholarship, if that makes sense.
Yes, yes.
I guess that
Thank
answers
you.
your question, Raman.
Yeah, I got all the answers. Really, I'm very grateful. Thank you very much.
Perfect, my pleasure.
So place my application.
Well, Paul will be looking forward to that.
Thank you very much.
So next, I'm gonna unmute some. So there's a participant. If you're there, please unmute yourself and go ahead with your question.
Hello, hi Paul.
Yes.
Yeah, I have a small query. I have done mechanical engineering, but I have experience in software industry about 4 years. So if I apply to your college, then will I have to do some prerequisite also for masters in CS?
No, this program actually doesn't have any mandatory prerequisites. It is actually very friendly to those with non-computer science bachelor's degrees. So regardless of what your undergraduate was in, be it computer science or business or biology or whatever else you may have taken, you would be able to get direct entry into the MS-ACS program without the need for prerequisite studies first.
Okay, thank you. And I would like to know the like basic course curriculum for me, if it's available.
Yes, so the courses within the program would be these here on my screen. So you would go from web technologies, program construction, to advanced tools and techniques, to a project, database system, software development, and then a project 2 or internship, depending on what you wish to do in the final semester.
Okay. Thank you. That's it from my side.
Okay,
of course, happy to help.
Let's move on to Bhargavi. So Bhargavi, if you're here with us, go ahead with your question.
Hi.
Yes, hello.
Can I get admission for this fall 2022?
Fall is a bit late. If you already have a visa or a visa appointment scheduled with the U.S. Embassy or Consulate, we would be willing to try to get you accepted in time for fall. However, if you do not already have a visa or a visa appointment, because the embassies in India are booked solid until pretty much August at this point already, I would suggest applying for spring.
Okay, thank you.
Of course.
Thanks, Bhargavi. And next participant is Tarun. So go ahead with.
Yeah, hi Paul. So I have the same query as Bhargavi. That is, I have my visa appointment scheduled for July 15th. So I need an admission. So may I also know that when is the start date of this for this fall intake?
Yes, August 10th is the first day of class, and August 3rd and 4th are the arrival dates. So July 15th is possible as long as you're able to complete your application. I would say even this week would be ideal because we will need to receive an official transcript from your previous university. That can be an electronic copy, so your university can send it to me in an email, which would be a bit faster, which would be ideal with a July 15th deadline. But yes, I think we would be able to try to get that done and in place for you ahead of the visa appointment.
Yeah, thank you. Thank you so much.
Great.
Of course.
Great. Thanks for answering for that. And now I'm gonna unmute Venkatesh. Venkatesh, if you're here with us, go ahead.
Yeah, thanks. Hi, Paul. I was listening to the questions asked by others, and someone asked about scholarships.
Yes.
So it wasn't clear what your answer was to that. So if you could please elaborate on scholarships and some other program you mentioned. If you could please elaborate.
Yes, I can certainly do so. Yeah, of course, that's not going to load for me. Okay. Bear with me. Let me just get over to our, okay, you know what?
Yeah, that always works.
All right, so for tuition and fees, it might be a little bit easier if I show you this in regards to the breakdown. So a full-time graduate student in the United States is typically at 9 credit hours. With this program, we have some semesters that are at 9 credit hours and some that are at 12 credit hours. Each class is typically considered 3 credit hours. So 9 credit hours is 9, 12 is 4. For costs, what you're looking at, if I can show you the breakdown here. So the first two are tuition costs. Then we have various mandatory fees that are required for all of the students who are in the program. And you'd be looking at this as your grand total for a international or out-of-state student. So typically you're looking at $9,200 to $12,004 per semester, depending on how many classes you're taking that semester. And the scholarship, or in this case, the graduate assistantship that I was mentioning, would actually be that you would work on campus 20 hours a week under a member of our faculty doing a task. So you might be helping with research, you might be helping with teaching, you might be helping with grading, you might be helping with research and or working in a office on our campus, say in a secretarial position or a data analyst position or what have you. So we have many jobs across campus. You can apply for any of the ones that you're qualified for and are interested in. If you are selected for a GA, you would then have a waiver of the tuition fees, which means that you'd only have to pay these remaining fees as part of your tuition bill. So that would take a bill from $9,200 down to about $1,000 a semester. However, some of our positions do also come with a monthly stipend on top of the tuition waiver, and that can be anywhere between $500 to $1,000 per month if you would be in a position that would have a stipend, and that would be enough to cover, of course, the remaining fees and may even give you enough left over to help put towards housing. It wouldn't be enough to cover 100% of all costs, but it certainly puts you far ahead of the curve in regards to financing your education in the United States.
Yeah, understood. This helps actually. Thanks.
Of course.
Well, thank you, Venkatesh. And now I'm gonna unmute Shivani. Shivani, go ahead with your question. Shivani, you here with us? Yeah.
Yes.
Go ahead.
Yeah. Hello, Paul. I'm Shivani.
Hello.
Actually, I want to know about if there is MS available for data analysis.
Data analytics. So yes, with the data analytics, it's one of the programs that we do typically offer, and I went too far. So for our data analytics concentration, that is one of the ones that we do have available in our MBA program. So it's a more focused business degree as opposed to a computer science degree. So I didn't cover it in today's session, but we do have it as an available option. So if it would be more of an interest to you for a data analytics over a computer science focused, I would recommend the MBA in data analytics concentration that we do have available.
Okay. Okay. Thank you, Paul.
Of course.
Thank you, Paul. And now I'm gonna unmute Rushi. So Rushi, please go ahead with your question.
Hi. So I'm currently going to enter into my final year, and I think that I'll be applying 1 year later. So for that, I wanted to know. I think that I'll be applying without any job experience. So other people with job experience, would they be having a greater advantage over me, or like should I go after apply after having some kind of experience in the field?
That's a good question. I would say it is not required. It is a pre-professional program, so work experience may give you a bit of an advantage, but not significantly so. So I would say that it's probably not worth taking the delay of getting the experience first before applying, simply because you probably would be able to get admission without it. The only time I really see in-program experience making a big difference is in situations where a student might have like a 48% or a 4.8 CGPA, which is a little bit under what they're looking for, but good career experience can help make up for that and push it above the 5.0 minimum that they're typically looking for an admission decision. So that being said, I'd say as long as you had, a second class or first class graduation and you did well in the program that you took, that should be good enough to obtain admission without the need of going out and getting the professional experience first. But if you had a rather shaky university experience and you got out with a 4.0 flat, and just barely squeaked by with a degree, then in your case, the career experience may be an advantageous option to have to increase your chances of being accepted. But for most students, I'd say it's probably worth coming immediately rather than getting the career experience first, because more than likely, whatever you're going to make for that 1 or 2 years of experience with a bachelor's degree is going to be less than in a couple more years after you go to school and get a master's degree, in which case those years of work are worth more. So the opportunity cost of waiting to start your graduate degree is higher because you're missing out on those higher wages that you would be eligible for after you graduate from the program.
Okay, thank you. And also I wanted to know, I think I missed quite a significant part due to technical issues. I wanted to ask that the deadline is 31st July for coming fall. Am I right?
To be honest, well, not July, for June. And for our international deadline, it was actually more like May 1st. Especially with India, because of the delays right now in the embassy system. We basically stopped accepting Indian applications for fall a while ago. However, if you already have a US F1 student visa, or you already have a visa date scheduled under another university's I-20, if you let me know, I can ask permission from the faculty to review your application, and then we may be able to still get you here for fall. But at this point, especially with the visa delays in India, if you do not already have a visa or a visa appointment scheduled, I would recommend spring, just because the students who have I-20s right now are not able to get appointments either for fall. I have about 100 students in India right now trying to get appointments for fall, and they have been of limited success so far. So I'd say unless you already have something scheduled, go for spring.
I won't be available. Like I will be starting my final year in the next month, so I don't think I'll be able to apply even if I wanted to. So I just wanted to ask this for the next year. My actual question was that other universities have been taking it a bit earlier than West Georgia, as far as I have seen. Like they hold their fall applications somewhere around September, I'd say September to October, November, December. In these 3 to 4 months, that is when I've seen most of the deadlines.
Well, that would be probably for spring, because in America, fall starts either in August or September. So if you're seeing deadlines in October or November, that would be for the next academic year.
Okay.
For us, we do have a priority deadline. That's going to be more like January or February. And then our final deadlines for international students is typically in late April or early May. And then the final deadline for the program is typically the end of June. However, those are typically more for the domestic students or students coming from Canada, for example, that doesn't need a visa to study in the United States. But for those who do need to go through the visa application process, I typically do recommend our priority deadline, which is going to be in the January, February area, because that would also give you the highest opportunity of being chosen for a graduate assistant program as well. So applying early is advantageous both on your chances of being accepted, as well as the opportunity to possibly get funding for your program through the GA program, just to make it a little bit more affordable as well.
Okay. Okay. Thank you.
Well, thanks, Roshi and Paul, for answering that. And I'm just gonna disturb you with one more. So yeah, so Sai, if you're here with us, go ahead with your question.
Yeah, hi. Hi, Paul.
Hello.
How are you?
Very well, thank you. Yourself?
Yeah, thank you. I'm good. I'm doing good. So my question was, does the university accept 3 years of education bachelor's?
Yes. Yeah, the 10 plus 2 plus 3, 15 year, that's fine.
Okay, great. So what is the basic eligibility like for a 3 years education? What kind of background you were looking? I mean, the university does look for the background, right?
We actually are a bit loose on background for this program because this one is particularly friendly for non-computer science majors. It's actually one of the strong points of this program is that it is open to anyone regardless of background, because it is a bit of a different type of program. So the professional experience or the degree of which your bachelor's was in is fairly irrelevant. They mostly just want to see what your performance was. So your CGPA, as long as it's at 50 or above, you probably are going to make the minimum requirements. If it's higher 40s and you have some professional experience, then I'd say it's still worth trying. But typically, as long as you're at the 50% mark or above, or at least very close to it, you typically meet the academic requirements regardless of your specialization for your bachelor's degree.
Okay. So, Paul, I have one more question to ask. So I already have my interview scheduled, and I am still looking for another university to apply. And most probably, to be precise, I was looking for a state university, and this came by. So can I still apply for UMC for this fall?
When is your appointment?
Actually, it is tomorrow. I wanted to
Oh
make
dear.
it a transfer.
Yeah, in that case, yeah, we wouldn't be able to complete your application, get you an I-20 ahead of tomorrow. But yes, even after you do get a visa from another university, it is certainly possible to transfer to a different organization or a different university. So I'd say go as you plan tomorrow to the interview. If you are approved and are successful, I'll knock on wood for you on that one. But if you are indeed approved for the visa tomorrow and you want to just throw out a few additional applications and see if you can get a better deal somewhere, you're more than welcome to send one over to me. And we can certainly see if we can make you a better offer than your current institution.
Yeah, that would do better. Thank you.
Certainly. Good luck.
Yeah, thank you. And just one more thing to add. How much is the usual processing time for the admission actually?
That is a wonderful question. Right now, it's a bit low, a bit long, because I am right now the only member of staff in the international office. So, hi. However, I am hiring 2 additional people from August. So right now I am kind of at maximum capacity. So things are a little bit slower. I'd say give me 2 weeks to get an application completed and over to the faculty for their review. Their review typically takes 3-4 days after an application is completed, and then a decision out within about 2 weeks time, which for me, I think is too long. I usually aim for 10 days or less. So hopefully come August, once I get some additional staff in my office, we will be back to the sub 10-day mark. But yeah, right now, I'd say if you give me 2 weeks, that should be enough time, as long as your university isn't remarkably slow in sending me the transcript.
Okay. Thank you, Paul. Thank you for helping me with the details.
Of course, certainly.
Well, thank you, Paul, for answering that. And with this, we have come to an end of this session. And to all those students whose question haven't been answered or you have been left, no, don't you worry. Paul's gonna reach out by tomorrow or day after tomorrow, as he said. He got lots over his plate. So don't you worry. Shiksha or Paul, both will reach out. And going forward, we are gonna inform you in advance in case if you are left with the question. So have a great day. Thank you, Paul, for such an informative session, and stay safe. Have a good day.
Thank you as well. It was a pleasure to meet all of you, and I will definitely be sending you an email as soon as I can. Till then, have a wonderful day, and we'll see you next time.
Yeah. Bye-bye.
Bye.